Cats are, well, they're mysterious, right? Super independent, basically the rulers of our homes. But have you ever really wondered what's going on in that little head of theirs? Like, what do they actually think of you? Or maybe even your friends? Well, we're going to dive right into that because the answer, it might just surprise you.
You know that feeling, right? You walk into a room and you just feel these little eyes on you, judging your every move. Or maybe a cat just seems to disappear the second you show up. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not imagining it. It is not in your head. Science actually backs this up. Cats can and absolutely do recognize and remember well, the people they don't like.
So, how in the world does this even work? Well, that brings us to our first section, which is all about a cat's frankly incredible memory. We're calling this the science of the side eye, and I think that's perfect because it really gets to the heart of how they keep this mental record of who's a friend and who's, a foe.
Okay, what's really fascinating here is when you put cats up against dogs. We usually think of dogs as having these long, loyal memories, right? But it turns out when it comes to the bad stuff, the negative experiences, cats are the ones who never forget. Think about it. A dog might forgive you pretty quick for accidentally stepping on its tail. But a cat? Oh no. A cat takes that little incident, puts it in a mental filing cabinet, and saves it for later. Their memory is just laser focused on anything that scared or annoyed them.
And this all leads to a really cool concept, the mental red flag. Here's how it works. When someone does something the cat doesn't like, maybe they were way too loud or a little too grabby, or maybe they just had a weird vibe. The cat doesn't just let it go. Nope. It connects that person's face, their voice, their actions, all of it, with that bad feeling. And just like that, that person is officially red flagged in the cat's brain.
So, how exactly are they building this file on you? Well, it's not just one thing, it's a whole combination. Research shows they can actually tell human faces apart. They can also pick up on vocal tones. They totally know the difference between you sweet-talking them and someone yelling across the room. And they are experts at connecting specific behaviors with good or bad results. It's like they're building a complete profile on everyone they meet, a full dossier.
Okay, so the big question is, how do you know if you've landed on this list? Let's move on to our next section, which is all about reading their report card on you. We're going to look at the telltale signs that a cat is not a fan.
Now, some of these signs can be kind of subtle, but once you know what you're looking for, they're impossible to miss. The biggest one, of course, is just plain avoidance. If a cat bolts from the room every single time you walk in, that's a pretty big clue. Then you've got the physical stuff, ears flattened back, that irritated, twitchy tail flick. A hiss, well, that's a pretty clear warning shot. Same with refusing to let you touch them. And then there's the classic, that cold, judgmental stare. And yes, it means exactly what you think it means.
There's a quote from the source material that just sums this up perfectly. It's like the cat is saying, I remember you, and I'm not impressed. And that's the key takeaway here. A cat's body language isn't just random twitching. It is direct, intentional communication. When a cat gives you one of these looks or flicks its tail, it's sending a very clear message. Hey, I've met you before, I remember how it went, and I'm not a fan.
All right, so this might sound a little bleak, especially if you think you're on the blacklist. But is the relationship doomed forever? Is there no hope? Absolutely not. There is totally a path to redemption. So let's talk about how you can win them over and get yourself off that list for good. The number one word to remember here is respect. First things first, you have to be patient. You absolutely cannot force a cat to like you. It just doesn't work. You got to let them call the shots. Let them be the one to approach you when they feel safe and ready. A great way to help this along is to offer some really good treats. You're trying to build a new positive association with you being around. And finally, your whole vibe matters. You got to speak softly, move slowly, just be a calm presence. It's all about showing them you're not a threat. So, we've looked at their incredible memories, we've looked at their behavior. What's the big lesson here? What's the main thing to remember? Let's wrap this all up with the final takeaway.
If there's one crucial thing to take away from all this, it's this. Cats are so much more socially aware and observant than we give them credit for. They are constantly watching, listening, and learning about every single human in their space. They're not just these aloof, distant creatures going about their day. No, they are active participants in their social world, and they are forming some really complex opinions about everyone they meet.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Knowing everything we know now, that they remember everything, that first impressions are a huge deal, and that they are basically reading your every move, the next time you meet a cat, what kind of impression are you going to make?